Hi students, welcome back to the Google Classroom of Class 7 Geography Chapter 3 Our Changing Earth. Did you enjoy your vacation very well? Yes. Okay children, I hope all of you have studied the previous topics of this chapter very well and you all performed very well in your test paper. We have learned endogenic forces, exogenic forces, volcano, earthquake and tsunami in the previous classes. Today we will discuss an important topic, major landforms.
Major landforms. The landscape is being formed by two processes, weathering and erosion.
The landscape is continuously worn away by two processes. Which are they? Weathering and erosion. So first one is weathering. Then what do you mean by weathering? Weathering is the breaking up of rocks on the earth's surface.
Once more, what do you mean by weathering? Weathering is the breaking up of the rocks on this earth's surface.
Then next one is erosion. What do you mean by erosion? Erosion is the wearing away of landscape by different agents like water, wind and ice.
Once more, what is erosion? Erosion is the removal of solids. That means sediments, soil, rock and other particles in the natural environment. It usually occurs due to transport by wind, water or ice. This is the picture of erosion. So children, what is this? This is a beautiful river. What are the different features of rivers? Waterfall, meanders, oxbow lake, floodplain, levees, delta. Once more, these are the features of rivers, waterfall, meanders, oxbow lakes, floodplain, levees, and delta. Next one is waterfall. A waterfall is a place where flowing water rapidly drops in elevation as it flows over a steep region or a cliff. This is the picture of waterfall. When the river tumbles at steep angle over very hard rocks or down a steep valley side, it forms a waterfall. So in this picture, this area is known as hard rock area. Then the softer rock undercut by the power of water is here.
Children, which is the highest waterfall? The highest waterfall is Angel Falls in Peninsula in South America.
Have you heard about meanders? The river enters the plain, it twists and turns, forming large bends known as meanders. Next one is Oxbow Lake. An oxbow lake is a U-shaped body of water formed when a wide meander from the main stem of a river is cut off to create a lake. This landform is called an oxbow lake for the distinctive curved shape that results from this process. This is the picture of Oxbow Lake. Children, what is this? This is a floodplain. Floodplain. When river overflows its banks, it leads to the flooding of the neighboring areas. As it floods, it deposits layers of fine soil and other material called sediments along its banks. This leads to the formation of floodplain. So, what do you mean by floodplain? When river overflows its banks, It leads to the flooding of the neighboring areas. As it floods, it deposits layers of fine soil and other material called sediments along its banks. This leads to the formation of floodplain. Levees. The raised banks are called levees. As the river approaches the sea, the speed of the flowing water decreases and the river begins to break up into a number of streams called distributaries. Delta. A delta is a landform that is created at the mouth of a river where that river flows into an ocean, sea, estuary, lake, reservoir, flat arid area or another river. Deltas are formed from the deposition of the sediment carried by the river as the flow leaves the mouth of the river. So children, look at the picture. This is the area of delta and this is these distributary channels of the river and this is the shoreline. Children, next one is the work of sea waves. In short, the erosion and deposition of sea waves gives rise to the coastal landforms. Sea waves continuously strike at the rocks. Cracks develop. Over time, they become larger and wider. What are the main features made by the sea waves? Sea caves, sea arch, stack, sea cliff. Once more, sea caves, sea arches, stack and sea cliff. So the first one is sea cave. Hollow-like caves are formed on the rocks. They are called sea caves. A sea cave, also known as a littoral cave, is a type of cave formed primarily by the wave action of the sea. The primary process involved is erosion. This is the picture of sea caves. As these cavities become bigger and bigger, only the roof of the caves remain, thus forming arches. So once more, when sea caves become bigger and bigger, only the roof of the caves remain, then form sea arches. Next one is stacks. Erosion breaks the roof and only walls are left. These walls-like features are called stacks. Children, once more, erosion breaks the roof and only walls are left. And these wall-like features are called stacks. This is the picture of stacks. Next one is sea cliff. The steep, rocky coast rising almost vertically above sea water is called sea cliff. Once more, the steep, rocky coast rising almost vertically above sea water is called sea cliff. The sea waves deposit sediments along the shores forming beaches. What do you mean by beaches? The sea waves deposit sediments along the shores and forming beaches.
Let us conclude today's session by recollecting all the concepts. The landscape is being continuously worn away by two processes, weathering and erosion. Weathering is the breaking up of rocks on the earth's surface. Then erosion is the wearing away of landscape by different agents like wind, water and ice. So children, please note that the corresponding URL, notes of the lesson and test paper are also attached along with this video. Make use of all these available resources, study well and attend the test paper without fail. Thank you.